Hi guys, so another beautiful day in Queensland, nice and sunny. Doesn't seem to be too windy. Haven't been outside actually. I've got to just take some rubbish out. That's about all I've got to do today. So I'm just catching up on the videos. I've done two already today, and this will be the third one. So this is a real marathon for me. So see how I can handle it. I've got a few people who are already replying on my Cooking with Doug, my second instalment of that. So it's nice to see that some people are taking interest in that, because I had no idea how that was going to be received. And that video went for about 18 minutes, so it was quite a long one, so I was a bit worried. But anyway, I better get on to the daily news. The news cycle just keeps churning around so quickly now that the latest is back to what's happening with Dan Andrews in Victoria, and they've got the quarantine inquiry that's taken place. Now, this article's from news.com.au, and what I found interesting is it's actually based around Jeff Kennett getting stuck into Daniel Andrews, which is quite well, what you'd expect. I mean, you know, he was a fairly laissez-faire premier when it came to the economy, and Daniel Andrews is Mr. Hardcore Socialist, so diametrically opposed when it comes to philosophy. And it appears as if Daniel Andrews is some sort of concocted some spell over the Victorian electorate where they just basically treat him with adulation, no matter what he does. But the news.com described what Kennett said as an extraordinary rant. Well, I totally disagree with that. I think what Jeff Kennett said and what they've quoted in this article, everything he said is quite sensible. So where are you coming from, news.com.au, supposedly impartial reporters, where you wonder? This is definitely the leftist part of the Murdoch empire, I think, the news.com.au. That's where the reporters that are pretty woke hang out. So I'm not surprised. But look, Kennett was just saying that this particular inquiry is farcical, because the witnesses coming forward are just saying they have no knowledge of this. You know, just basically stonewalling and saying, doing the schultz out of Hogan.
I know nothing. Nothing.
It's that sort of bull. I mean, I think it's legitimate for Kennett to question this. And why you would call this an extraordinary rant is just crazy stuff. Yeah, well, apparently Dan's right-hand man, Chris Eckel, simply can't remember who ordered the security guards to those hotels. Yeah, and it just doesn't wash. You know, these people are just stonewalling and making a farce of the judicial process. They go on to say no one remembers anything. How convenient. People just don't remember anything. No politician accepts, this is what Kennett's saying, no politician accepts responsibility. No doubt Andrews will do nothing when he goes on the witness stand the following day. Most voters back Daniel Andrews' handling of the coronavirus. It's just, I don't get it. Why? He's been an utter incompetent who has taken no responsibility, and he's been the most hard ass when it comes to the shutdowns. But apparently, this is what news polls said anyway, that 61% of Victorians thought that the state lockdown restrictions were just about right. Well, look, I've got to say, the evidence with the Freedom Marches would indicate that there aren't that many people who are prepared to come out and demonstrate. So you would have to think that maybe Victorians are that conservative. But also the other thing could be they're just too scared to say what they really think to pollsters. And that is definitely becoming more and more of an issue. And it's more of an issue the more hardline a government is. And the Daniel Andrews government is extremely hardline. So I think the polls are just not going to be accurate in this case. But I mean, then again, the evidence says that people haven't got the guts to go out and demonstrate. But that could be just they're not prepared to do that. It doesn't mean they're thinking that Andrews is doing a great job. So I think that the figure's definitely overstated. and I think it's much closer than they're making out. The Liberals had a poll on marginal seats, and that showed that that Labor was behind in each of those marginal seats, and that's where the election's going to be fought anyway. So just blanket figures like 61% don't necessarily mean much when we're talking about going to the polls. So there's a lot of factors involved, basically. 62% said Andrews was handling the job well. I mean, come on. Seriously? Every Victorian has had a major lobotomy in the last 6 months, or there's something fishy going on with this polling. I mean, you be the judge. I don't buy that. How they could think he has been the most incompetent premier when it comes to the shutdowns. Everything he's done seems to make things worse. So how this guy could be lauded by the population, I just don't buy it. I don't buy it. It stinks. I smell a rat. And the only good news I've got here is that 39% of voters around the country are now more concerned about the harm to the economy and mental well-being than the actual risk of higher infection caused as compared to 20% who hadn't had that view in July. So now 39% have got a concern about the economy and the well-being of the mental well-being, as opposed to only 20% in July. That is good news. The caveat on that is, but they're worried that restrictions are being removed too quickly. Now, again, that's baffling to me. Now we've got to go back to my favourite, Annastacia Palaszczuk. 2/3 of Queenslanders backed the Premier. Love the shot of her looking in a composure of deep thought. I'm wondering how long it took the photographer to set that one up, because I don't think of Annastacia ever having deep thought. I think she's struggling to have shallow thought most of the time. So I thought that was quite an amusing photo there. It was certainly flattering her, in my opinion. 53% of Queenslanders say that the restrictions are about right. Well, again, I question that figure as well. And I'll tell you right now, the people up in this part of the world are going to vote against Palaszczuk big time, and the people in the bush too. So it could be quite uneven what happens with the polls. But if she thinks she's going to win this election in a canter, I think she's deluding herself. And just to emphasise that point, the Courier Mail carried out a survey of 8,000 respondents, which is quite a large number, and they showed that 61% have lost faith in the government. Now, the Courier Mail is leaning more to the right as a newspaper. It's a Murdoch press paper, but 8,000 is quite a large sample, so it should be taken with some level of seriousness. And I'm certainly dubious about normal opinion polls anyway. So take what you can out of that one. I don't know. We're flying blind to a large extent, but it's all part of the mix. You should take that Courier Mail survey into account, and maybe that's closer to reality than the polls. Anything's possible. It's a crazy year, and as I say, I think people who are more conservative are not answering the pollsters correctly. They're either afraid to, or they're just reticent to. So look, I hope that was a decent update for you. Gave you another news update for the day, because the information I had on the previous video is from the previous day. So this is up to date. And of course, as usual, please comment on this video. Give me a thumbs up or down, and subs. Well, what can I say? Only 10 more subs required to get to the magic 600 number. Come on, guys, you can do it. Well, hopefully you can do it anyway. But yeah, I mean, it would be extraordinary if I could actually get to 600, because I just recently got to 500. So there's a bit of momentum there. So it's very encouraging for me. So look, thank you for everybody for your support. I really do appreciate it, and I will try to keep on a one video per day regular basis. This one's a real bonus. It's 3 in one day, so it makes up for no videos yesterday. So anyway, enjoy your day. I hope the weather's almost as good as it is here, but I doubt it. I think this is probably one of the nicest parts of Australia to be in today. So I don't want to boast, but I'm very happy I've made the move up to North Queensland. So look after yourselves, and I'll get another video out to you tomorrow.